I frequently take my kids to the local library and we'll read books and go on the computer, but we'll also do a little bit of coloring, as I imagine you did when you were a kid. But today we're going to elevate this activity from illustrating in crayons to using photorealism, and today we're going to start with gradients. So what are gradients and how do they work? Well, the first thing that we need to do is set this up. We're going to right click on the paint bucket and select the gradient tool if it's not there already. When it's selected, if we look at the top, we can see that we've got this little drop-down menu. The upper left-hand corner, the square, that represents the colors that are in our foreground and background. And what we can do is we can change the foreground and background from the sort of this deep blue to this light blue. Great. And I'll select the gradient. And the gradient, when you click and drag in your palette or in your composition, creates a nice transition between the two colors, the foreground and the background colors. So what that means is if we click and drag from one corner to the next, we get this nice smooth transition. If we click and drag only a little bit, about a centimeter or so, we've got this really stark contrast. So you're going to think about that as you're adding color to your images today and in future classes. So we're going to combine that with the Magic Wand tool, because if I'm looking at this Lucy, right, and I want to add some color to her coat, and I click and I drag, it's going to fill the whole image. So we want to sort of isolate just the area of the coat, and we know that the Magic Wand does that because it selects an area based on color. So if I select the collar, just that area is selected. If I select this sort of ray gun, it's selected her sort of sleeve, so on and so forth. So I'm going to select this area of her overcoat. I'm going to hold Shift to select additional areas of her sleeve, and we're good to go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to swap the foreground and the background color. I'm going to use the eyedropper tool. I'm going to grab this dark blue, so we've got the light blue and the dark blue. I'm going to go into our gradient now, and I'm going to click and I'm going to drag just like this. Nice. I'm going to press Command D to deselect. I'm going to select again the Magic Wand tool, and you're going to have to do that every time. So I'm going to click here, hold Shift, select, gradient, and now I can simply click and drag like that if that's what we want. That looks cool, and I'll do a couple more times. Now, I'm doing all of this on the background layer, meaning that if I wanted to go back and change the color, that would not be possible because, well, it would be very, very challenging. If we want in the future, I would recommend that you create a new layer, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So create a new layer. While we're on the background, I'm going to select the L, also the rest of her name, by holding Shift, selecting multiple areas. And when I click on the gradient, not only can we use the foreground and background colors, but we've got a few more palettes we can choose from. I'm going to select this nice orange to yellow to orange, and I'm going to click, and actually in the layers palette, make sure you're on this layer 1, and you'll see what I mean in a second. Click and drag, and now we can press Command D to deselect. And now if I use the move tool, I can obviously pull this away. I can't do that to the blue in our overcoat. That's sort of stuck where it is. So you want to think about layers and colors as you're going through producing amazing graphic design. I cannot wait to see your work. Let me know if you have any questions. Good luck.